We'll bring you an update on 5-day recovery from last week's winter storm.
Convocation for Sally McDonald Barksdale Honors College was last night. Students got a chance to be recognized for their work on their thesis and hear from a National Geographic trailblazer. We'll have a look at the ceremony coming up.
Western leaders are holding out hope that they can reach a diplomatic solution. An update on those tensions is straight ahead. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now.
Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Kennedy Cooper.
And I'm Annabelle Kinney. An Illinois woman involved in a shootout back in May 2020 in Oxford was sentenced yesterday to 84 months in federal prison. Xavieriana Cook was arrested for aiding her boyfriend while police attempted to arrest him due to a warrant he got in Arkansas for a separate shooting incident. During a traffic stop on South Lamar, Hunter Carlstorm shot Deputy Marshal Bob Dickerson, who was taken to the hospital for emergency surgery. Law enforcement then shot and killed Carlstrom and arrested Cook, who was driving the car.
Many Memphis residents have gone the last 5 days without power. Memphis Light, Gas, and Water is citing downed trees for delays in getting power back on. But Memphis residents have had enough. Action News 5 talked to residents still waiting to get the heat on.
How many days have you been without power so far?
This will be my 5th day. We lost it at 8:05 Thursday morning.
Dave Williams and Andrea Diggins are in the same boat as thousands of others.
It is cold. It's currently 45 degrees in the house.
Williams said he was able to find a generator, but for a hefty price.
It cost $800, plus the cords were about another $100, and the gas tanks were another $100. And it will not really fire up a furnace. It only do a space heater, but I am doing that in my freezer to save my food.
MLGW says they expect 90% restoration by midnight and full restoration by Thursday at midnight, but customers are losing hope.
I was here during the '94 ice storm, and it was 10 times worse than this. And I understood why it took so long to get the power on during that, because we had 3 inches of ice. And I checked our trees, and we had maybe a quarter of an inch at the most.
Customers' number one question is, what is the company doing so they don't lose power when another storm strikes? MLGW President J.T. Young referenced the utility's 5-year plan.
I think once we get to the back end of that, we would be in much better shape. A critical component of that plan is our tree trimming.
Young says roughly 40% of the system is underground, and to go fully underground, it would cost $6 billion.
The cost of putting the entire system underground, I believe, would be untenable. I don't think that's something that customers would be able to shoulder, but we'll look at the range.
The utility company said it still has to make more repairs to damaged weatherheads before many customers will get power back.
The Lafayette County Board of Supervisors added new members to Baptist Ambulance's Emergency Management Service Committee last night. President of the board, Mike Roberts, announced that Lafayette County Fire Chief Wes Anderson, County Administrator Lisa Carwell, District 2 Supervisor David Rickard would join the committee to help oversee ambulance performance. 2 other members of the Lafayette County system, Oxford Fire Chief Joey Gardner and City Engineer Bart Robertson, also made their way to the board. The Baptist Ambulance made a proposal that the committee would meet monthly to discuss ambulance task performances and come to an agreement on what areas need to improve. The board is hopeful that the plan will make progress with ambulance service in the Oxford-Lafayette area.
The ballot is set for Lafayette County's November 8th midterm election, and there are plenty of judges to choose from. Lafayette County will have a county court for the very first time held in Lafayette County Courthouse. But first, it needs a judge. The 8 attorneys that qualify for the new seat include Stephen Jubera, James B. Justice, Cornelia Fondren, Thomas A. Waller, John Turner, Ray Garrett, Tiffany Calpatrick, and Christine Tatum. You can also vote for 3rd Circuit Judge, Chancellor Judge, Circuit Court of Appeals Judge, and U.S. Representative. The primary election is on June 7th.
The Lafayette County Board of Supervisors approved the city's plan to purchase Pumpkin Water Association yesterday. The board is optimistic about the move, but is concerned about the slippery slope of implementing city codes outside of the city limits. The city will be taking over the PWA and distributing water to its customers, which extend 8 miles outside city limits.
The Oxford Police Department reminded residents today that as tax season approaches, so does scam season. Oxford Police recently took a report of a pigeon drop scam where the scammer tries to convince you to give them more money to secure a larger amount of money. The department also shared some common scams as well as tips, like protecting your money pack number or other information. You can find the full list of tips and common scams at the OPD Twitter at Oxford Police.
Governor Tate Reeves said that the tax reform is one of his top priorities for this legislative season, and proposals are being discussed at the state capitol for the second year in a row, but the House and Senate are taking different approaches. The Senate wants the full elimination of the state tax income, a goal they share with Reeves. The Senate's plan stops short of that goal, eliminating the 4% tax bracket. Both of these plans are set to provide relief for grocery and car tax.
Oscar-winning actor and Mississippi native Morgan Freeman, along with Cole Hauser and Jamie Alexander, will begin filming the movie The Minute You Wake Up Dead this week in Canton, Mississippi. The movie stars Freeman as the sheriff in a small town. Movie producer Andrew Stevens says Ken was a natural fit because of the crew's strong ties to Mississippi. Stevens says he is still looking for extras, and the film will continue making more movies in Mississippi.
Turning to our coronavirus coverage, good news today as coronavirus cases at the University of Mississippi declined sharply, with a total of 36 active cases on campus. 26 of the cases are students, while there are 6 staff cases and only 4 faculty cases. The state of Mississippi also reported a little over 2,000 new coronavirus cases, which is a significant drop from last week's numbers, and this weekend's average of over 5,000 daily cases.
Last night was the spring convocation for the Sally McDonald Barksdale Honors College at the Ford Center. NewsWatch reporter Olivia Wright was at the event and joins us live. Olivia, what happened at the Ford Center?
Well, Kennedy, convocation gives honor college students a chance to share the research that they have been working on with others before they have to defend their thesis. Most of these honor students have declared their theses since their junior year and have spent the past summer and fall semester conducting their research. Student Grace Dragna shares her research thesis.
It's about breastfeeding promotion in the Mississippi Women, Infants, and Children program, which is a program for low-income women in Mississippi that provides nutrition services as well as breastfeeding services. And so through my research, I discovered that Mississippi has some of the lowest breastfeeding rates.
Students Matt Neer and Rabria Moore were both awarded with the Barksdale Award for their incredible achievements. Dr. Mira Mayer, the keynote speaker at this event, spoke about her inspiring life journey as an NFL cheerleader to now a National Geographic correspondent. Her biggest accomplishment being that she discovered a new primate species in the heart of Madagascar.
Animal, not seeing anything. At one point we ran out of food, there was a famine. It was incredibly difficult to keep the team sort of motivated and keep going. And then one day we finally got a glimpse of one. This was the first picture ever taken of that animal.
She ended the speech to the honor students with the influential life story as the first female and Hispanic National Geographic correspondent. As just one of the 2 honors events out of the year, Convocation was a chance to both inspire and showcase the hard work of honor students. Olivia Wright, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Thanks, Olivia. Coming up, grocery prices have skyrocketed in recent months, and not only do experts doubt they will go down, they may actually keep rising. We'll take a look at those predictions, but first, here's your look at your current conditions.
Hurricanes and major flooding threaten cities, towns, and rural homes across the Gulf states. So chances are there will be more storms and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Yeah! Sam, Elmo!
Oh, hey, Julia. Are you ready to play band with us? I'm gonna play my clarinet.
And Elmo's gonna play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
Mm-hmm. With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Luke! 911, where's your emergency?
Everyone's on their way. What happened?
Your friend's not breathing.
Please get my mom and dad. Oh my God!
De-escalation talks have ramped up this week between Russia and Western countries, but tensions remain high as Russia has assembled 70% of the military personnel it would need for a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. CNN's Chris Wynn has the latest details on the effort to find a peaceful solution.
Tensions are rising by the day as Russia builds up military forces around Ukraine.
The risk for an attack is going up.
Europe now ramping up its efforts to defuse potential conflict, even as the United States has warned that a Russian attack on Ukraine could be imminent. Shuttle diplomacy all aimed at lowering the temperature.
And we also see the threatening rhetoric, the very strong rhetoric from Russia saying that we need to give in to their demands.
In Kiev Tuesday, French President Emmanuel Macron visited his Ukrainian counterpart Vladimir Zelensky following a 5-hour meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin a day earlier. The Kremlin has repeatedly denied it is planning an incursion, but argues that NATO support for Ukraine constitutes a growing threat to Russia.
We stand for the deoccupation of our territory. Today's support for Ukraine from our partners in terms of strengthening our defense capability is a win-win for the whole region.
Also at issue, an 8-year war between Ukraine and Russian-backed separatists in eastern Ukraine. Russia has accused Ukraine of failing to implement the 2015 peace deal known as the Minsk Agreement, whereas Ukraine says implementing it on Russia's terms could destabilize the country.
Of course, there is a real danger, but we continue to work for a political solution.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
Macron is emerging as the frontman for Western countries as they work to avoid invasion.
In Washington, the Biden administration has officially started the process of finding a nominee for the Supreme Court. Officials of the White House have begun reaching out to the president's potential candidates, but there haven't been any in-person meetings just yet. The FBI has also started reaching out to the friends and former colleagues of the candidates as part of the vetting process. President Biden said he plans to announce the nominee by the end of the month.
You may have noticed that the last few trips you've made to the grocery store have cost you a pretty penny, and it doesn't show any signs of getting better. In fact, experts think inflation is going to get worse. Economists at Goldman Sachs expect that by the end of the year, your food could cost you up to 6% more at the checkout counter than it already does. That's almost as much as the prices jumped in 2020. It may just be early in the year, but experts have already noted a significant jump in prices since the new year, and as inflation on farming products like fertilizer hits the other end of the supply chain, it's only going to get worse.
Today, Surgeon General Vivek Murthy testified before Congress on the impact that the pandemic has had on the mental health of young people in America. Murthy said that it has been devastating and declared the state of mental health in America a public health crisis. There is a bipartisan movement in Congress to address the rising mental health issues, particularly in youth, which have seen a recent spike in suicide attempts.
In other health-related news, a new study suggests that if you're trying to lose weight, more sleep might be a tool you want to use. The answer is more simple than you might think. It's hard to eat while you're sleeping. Those in the study who increased their nightly sleep from 6.5 hours to 8.5 hours ate an average of 270 fewer calories. The study looked specifically at overweight people between the ages of 21 and 40. So if you're looking to lose some weight, consider an earlier bedtime to ward off those late night cravings.
And coming up in sports, Coach Joe and the women's basketball team dropped a heartbreaker in the pavilion last night when they took on a nationally ranked LSU team. But despite that loss, Shakira Austin is one player on the hardwood that continues to be a bright spot for the team. Find out more up next in sports.
I am a nurse,
a firefighter,
a college student,
a mother, and I am an American soldier.
I will always be ready
for every storm
and disaster that threatens my community.
I will always be there to protect my neighbors,
my family,
and my country.
We are the Army National Guard.
We are the Army National Guard.
We are the Army National Guard.
Visit nationalguard.com to learn more about part-time service.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
I just found out my work party is a +1. You want to go? This is my boss, Ella.
Nice to meet you, Greg.
You're welcome.
Nope, I'm high. But I'll clean the kitchen while you're gone.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive? I'm toasted.
Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
The Rebel women's basketball team fell just short last night in an SEC battle with number 14 LSU at the Pavilion. The Tigers got off to a hot start, starting the game on an 8-0 run, but the Rebels battled back and kept things interesting. The Ole Miss bench put in a great performance, combining for 32 points, and sophomore Madison Scott was a force on the glass, grabbing 15 rebounds. In the end, LSU's accurate shooting allowed them to pull away and secure the win. Kayla Pointer contributed a triple-double for the Tigers, and Angel Baker poured in 20 points. Despite the loss, Ole Miss currently sits at number 25 in the coaches' poll, and they will look to improve their record and their ranking this Sunday when they face arch rival Mississippi State in Starkville. Tip-off on Sunday is at 3 p.m. Be sure to tune into the SEC Network to catch all the action. And Rebel center Shakira Austin has added yet another accolade to her list. Austin was named to the 2022 Naismith Midseason Trophy team. She's one of just 30 names on this exclusive list. The Naismith College Player of the Year trophy is presented annually to the most outstanding women's college basketball player. Austin is the SEC's active leader in career rebounds, and the senior also just eclipsed the 1,500-point mark for her career. The watch list for the award will be narrowed down throughout the season, and it will be presented on April 2nd. And keeping things on the court, the men's basketball team is preparing for a big SEC showdown tomorrow night when they take on the Alabama Crimson Tide at the Pavilion. The Rebs are looking to rebound from a 62-57 loss to Florida this past Saturday, and they will have their hands full with an Alabama squad that was in the national rankings for the first part of this season. Senior guard Jarkel Joyner will once again be in the lineup for tomorrow's game. Joyner was on the court for the first time in weeks against Florida, and he looked very healthy. Ole Miss will look to him to lead the way against the Crimson Tide. Tip-off from the Pavilion is tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. And Ole Miss men's golf standout Jackson Suber is already enjoying plenty of success this season. The senior was just named to the 2022 Ben Hogan Award watch list. The list features 30 of the top collegiate golfers in the country, and Suber is the first Rebel since 2018 to be named to the watch list. Suber is coming off a red-hot fall season. He won his third individual tournament title in his career, and he is currently ranked number 3 in the GolfStat NCAA player rankings. Jackson Suber will look to lead his team to a season full of success. The first tournament of this spring gets underway on February 13th in Puerto Rico. And ending things off with some Olympic action. United States figure skater Nathan Chen set a world record in Beijing for the short program, posting an incredible score of 113.97. Chen redeemed himself with flying colors following a performance in the 2018 Olympics that he described as disastrous. The 22-year-old is a favorite to win gold this year, and he expressed his emotions by stating how elated he was in an interview following his stellar routine. Look for Chen and the rest of the United States Olympians to excel in the upcoming competitions and bring home plenty of hardware. That's all I've got for sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at rebel_watch for the latest sports updates.
Thanks, Carson. If you've ever wanted to name a cockroach or a rat, 2 zoos are giving you that chance to do that for a low price. And it comes with a fun Valentine's Day twist. That story up next.
The sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Anytime they're playing music downstairs, it's loud. I go downstairs, see what they're doing, see what music they're doing, see what they're dancing to. I go play piano downstairs, they come get involved. Leah has a drum set beside it, banging that. Any music, that's what they do.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Do you have an ex that you struggle to forgive? Well, the El Paso and San Antonio zoos might just have what you need to get over them. Maybe all you need is to name a creature after them and watch it then get eaten.
That's right. Just $5 to name a cockroach after your ex and $25 for a rat. After naming it, you can watch it become prey for an unspecified predator. If you have a healthy relationship with all of your exes, you may still want to donate because the San Antonio zoo director said he'll eat a cockroach for every $1,000 the zoo raises. So far, he has to eat 7.
Well, Kennedy, would you name your ex after a cockroach?
I don't know about that, but who would want to eat a cockroach?
Not sure.
I wouldn't.
That's all for tonight. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Annabelle Kinney.
And I'm Kennedy Cooper. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media accounts at NewsWatch Ole Miss for the latest updates on Ole Miss and beyond.
Thank you and good night.